Hi, my loves. How are you all doing? It's Andrea. As a women's health coach, I help you to understand how your body and your hormones work and why you're struggling with so many symptoms. I help you to create solutions and heal your body from those symptoms so you can go on and create a healthy, happier life. In my video today, I'm chatting to you about your periods, why you may be having lots of different period issues, and what happens in perimenopause with your periods. So stay tuned for more information about that. When you're coming on, say hello. I'm streaming through StreamYard, so if you want to let StreamYard know that if you want to comment, that you have to give them permission to let you, so I can see your comments today. If you want to ask me any questions on my live, and if you're watching the replay, say hello as well. You've watched the replay, and if you have any questions for me, we'll be coming back to check if you have any questions and answering them as well. Um, so let's chat about periods. Um, I know that I didn't know how my period worked properly as a woman. I thought I could get pregnant every week of the month. I didn't know how I had different phases and why I was struggling so much with painful periods when in my 20s, why I was struggling so much. And so this is why I want to let you know more about your periods. If you didn't know how they work, then I'll let you know now. So your menstrual cycle, you can come on any time between days 28 to days 30. Lots of women are different. I think my cycle was about around 28 days. I came on every 28 days. And what I didn't realize is I was struggling so much with painful periods and heavy periods that I had some issues to look out with estrogen dominance. And when you're a young girl as well, starting your periods, your ovaries are still sensitive to estrogen, so it can create a bit of a disruption at the beginning when you first start your periods, but it will settle down after a bit of time, and you can do so much to help with that. So what happens with your periods is that your first day of your period is day one of your cycle, and then as your period progresses, your estrogen levels will start to rise again. And your follicles will be prepared again to produce another egg ready for ovulation. That's the first 2 weeks of your cycle is your estrogen phase. Now this phase of the month of the month is the really good part of the month where your energy levels are higher, you're more productive, you can think more clearly, you can get more things done, you feel like Superwoman, you're going, yeah, I'm going to get that done, I'm going to sort that out, I'm going to clear that out, I'm going to get organized. This is when you're really switched on, and you really feel like you've got lots of energy and you can work out really well you don't feel like really bad fatigue or anything like that. So it's a more productive part of the month is your estrogen phase. And then the second part of your month is your progesterone phase. Now, this is the phase where your progesterone is more calming, and your estrogen is a growth hormone. So the second phase is progesterone phase. This is when you can be more tired around your period. You're getting ready to have your period, or when you ovulate, you can usually tell that you're ovulating because you can feel like a twinge, and you can also check your temperature around at the day 14 mark. You can tell your temperature rises ever so slightly to let you know that you've ovulated. So if you're lady that's you want to use a natural ways to get pregnant, this is how you can test that you've ovulated, is by checking your temperature around this time regularly. You can tell when you've ovulated. And then once your egg is in the fallopian tubes, it can be fertilized by sperm, and the egg will only be alive for 24 hours. But because sperm can live in your vagina for 5 days, at least 5 days, it can live in your vagina. You can get pregnant for like a week around ovulation time, just before ovulation and after ovulation. I'd leave it about a week, 7 days, 6 or 7 days, where you take more precautions around this time, do some more contraception if you don't want to get pregnant, or if it's this window of 7 days, this is the time where we can get pregnant in that week. around after your ovulation time. So yes, you can't get pregnant every week of the month. So you don't have to go on the birth control pill or anything like that. You can take control of your own body as a woman. You can check when you're ovulating and just take precautions for that week. And then the rest of the month, you don't have to worry about contraception because you won't get pregnant. So this is how your cycle works. So if you can follow this cycle, it's really important to follow this cycle as a woman. If you're working against your body, if you're going to the gym in your progesterone phase when you're feeling a bit more tired and you're doing lots of spinning classes, you're working out for hours, you're going for long runs, and your body's already tired and you're stressing it out even more. So then you're not following your cycle that way because you're stressing your body out because you're not following your cycle. So if you tune into your body, if you keep a journal of your symptoms and where your periods are, maybe if you're a woman that's lost the periods, you don't know where you are in your cycle, especially in perimenopause, you can use the moon cycle as a guide because you do still have a period, you still have the ebb and flow of hormones, you still have a cycle in menopause. It's just your hormones are at lower levels. Um, and you won't have a period, but you still have the ebb and flow, the natural ebb and flow of hormones. So you can use the moon as a guide, like the moon cycle. For some women, the full moon is when they have menstruation, or the full moon can be ovulation for you. It could be the other way around. The new moon can be ovulation. The new moon can be your menstrual cycle. It's different for every woman. You can keep a track of that to find out. So this is how your hormones work, the ebb and flow of your hormones throughout the month, and how you get your period. So if you're struggling with your period, maybe your period is scatty, you're spotting in between your periods, you've got some heavy bleeding, there's lots and lots of things that can be disrupting your hormones. So the number one is you're not following your cycle properly. You're being restricted with your diet, you're not eating nutritious foods, because around your progesterone phase, before you're having your period, your body has to use a lot of energy because it's a cleansing. Your body is shedding the blood, it's cleansing, and it needs a lot of energy to do that. So that's why your body gets tired. That's why it's telling you to rest around this period, because it has to use a lot of energy to shed the lining, to cleanse your body during when your menstruation. So if you're not following that, this is what can be stressing your body out even more. And if you're restricting, you're not eating because you can get cravings around this time of the month. And if you're having lots of cravings, if you're feeling heavy in your breasts, you're feeling bloated a lot, mood swings, PMS, this is a sign that your hormones are not ebbing and flowing naturally. Because just before your period, your estrogen and progesterone will rise together, and then they'll peak and then they'll drop, and then it's when you have your period. So if they're not peaking together for some reason or other, if you're not if you've got some stress in your life, or you're not following natural rhythm, you're not resting around this time, you're not listening to your body, then this is when you can have lots of PMS and lots of issues and cravings and things like that, heavy breasts, sore breasts before your period. You can find more relief from that if you're listening to your body and you're following that natural ebb and flow. So some hormone disruptors then, what are they? They're called hormone disruptors. They can be disrupting this cycle. So the first thing to look at is, am I following the natural ebb and flow of my cycle with my estrogen phase and my progesterone phase? You're not restricting, you're paying attention to what's happening during this phase, what I've just talked about. The second thing to look at is, what are stresses in your life? Because stress is a massive hormone disruptor, and there are lots of different types of hormone disruptors. It could be what you're eating, or if you're restricting, you're trying lots of different diets, then can be disrupting your hormones, because diets don't really work for women because of the hormones that are different every week of the month. So you initially have a different body every week of the month because of the different hormones that are at play, that are increasing or decreasing, and you're feeling differently throughout the month. So if you're just following a specific diet all throughout the month and you're restricting your progesterone phase, when your when your progesterone phase is asking for more nutrients, asking you to eat more and more good nutrition and rest more, then you're putting pressure on your body, then you're stressing your body out. And this is a massive, massive hormone disruptor, because when your body's in stress mode, it can steal your progesterone. So your progesterone can go even lower as well. So that can affect your hormone balance, and it can affect your periods. Exercise can be stressful. Like I said, if you're doing the wrong types of exercise, if you're stressing your body out by exercising the wrong times, parts of the month, doing the wrong types of exercise, can get a bit confusing. But that can be stressing your body out. Your life can be stressing your body out as well. You know, what you're thinking. Are you holding on to lots of emotions in your body? Because this can create lots of stress in your body. If you're holding your emotions in, you're not expressing yourself, you're going through stressful periods of your life, and you're not releasing the pent up emotions that are in your body, because they can be carried all through your life. If you're not releasing those emotions, if you're not dealing with the emotions, if you're keeping them inside, then they can affect your life, and it can affect your health and your hormone balance as well. Because emotions can get trapped inside your body and create lots of health issues. And I didn't realize that myself. You know, I didn't realize that I wasn't, you know, the way I wasn't expressing myself, you know, I wasn't speaking my truth, being true to myself, healing what's around me, because we all have lots of different emotional upheavals in life, go through divorces, relationship splits, you may lose your job. All these are stressful events in your life, and it's important to heal from that before you go through the next phase of your life. And it's important to heal your emotions. You know, don't just jump from one relationship to the next relationship, because that's not going to help you. You have to be with yourself and deal with and heal from that, you know, how that relationship affected your life, how it hurt your life. It's important to spend time on your own, because I didn't know that myself. I was going from relationship to relationship, not realizing that I had to heal from, you know, the emotions around the relationship breakup, and that it's not always you that was the cause of that breakup. You know, it could be them, you know, and it's obviously not right for you. You know, it wasn't right for you. It wasn't the right relationship for you. So there's lots and lots of things that can affect your emotions and can get trapped in your body to create hormones disruption. Can create lots of problems, not just with your periods, but with lots of other things, especially in perimenopause, when your hormones shift. And this is when a lot of the emotions can be awakened again, that if you've not dealt with them properly, they can just come to the surface and create lots of anxiousness and anxiety and emotional outbursts in perimenopause. So when I work with women, I help women all the time with all these different stresses in their life. You know, the emotional stress, the life stress, the digestion stress, because your digestion can be a stress on your body. How you digesting your food, what you're eating, your exercise, your sleep. You know, you're getting enough sleep, you're getting enough rest. All these different things I help women with in my 12-week program, Transform Your Life in Midlife. If you'd like me to join me in my next round, I've got spaces open right now to join me, to help you with all these different stresses in your life, these different phases that you're going through, to help you, because perimenopause is a different phase in your life. You go through different phases. You go through puberty, you go through your fertile years, and now you're going through menopause, which is the puberty in reverse. And so there's lots and lots of different things that can disrupt your hormones during this time. So when you get to perimenopause, your symptoms just explode because of all these different disruptors that you've gone through in your 20s and your 30s. Have disrupted your periods, have disrupted your hormones, and now you get into this phase of your life, it can cause an even more of a bigger disruption and create lots of symptoms. And this is what I help you with. I help you to identify what these different things are that's causing you so many symptoms, why you're having so many period issues. Because you can have heavy bleeding as well, and lots of painful periods, which are not pleasant, because I've experienced it myself. I know what that's like, and it's not pleasant. And there's so much that you can do with all these different stresses to look at them and get them under control. So what you have in your digestive tract is your estrobolome. Okay, So the strobolome, if you don't know what that is, I'll explain to you now what the strobolome is. It's where your estrogen is switched off. So when your hormones have been used in your body, they need to be exited out of your body, taken out through your liver detox, taken out through your gut health. So if you're constipated, you could be recycling the excess estrogen back into your body, and they're not being deactivated and taken out of your body because you have an enzyme that's released called beta glucuronidase. And if that's high, that's an indication that your estrogen levels that can be switched back on again, they get deactivated in your digestive tract and they can be switched back on again and recycled back into your body and not taken out of your body because of this beta glucuronidase enzyme. So if you haven't got a strong gut, if you've got bad pathogens and your gut bacteria is not working correctly, if you're constipated and not pooping regularly, this can be a sign of the toxic estrogens building up in your body, and that can go on to create heavy bleeding because it's not what your body you're not taking out your excess estrogens from your body effectively enough. Um, I talked about all these different stresses that can put your progesterone low, but in perimenopause, your progesterone levels can go even lower, and this can put estrogen higher, and this can this can cause the heavy bleeding as well. And it can also affect your thyroid hormone from working properly because high estrogen levels can bind up your thyroid hormone and stop it from working from your body. And your thyroid hormone could be contributing to some heavy bleeding as well if you're having heavy bleeding. Fibroids could be another thing, cysts as well. So it's important to get checked out by your doctor first to check if there's anything going on that's creating this heavy bleeding. But it is quite common in perimenopause. So what's happened when your period's in perimenopause is first the first phase of your perimenopause is ages about 35 to 45. First phase is when your hormones are up and down and all over the place, and they can create lots of different symptoms, and it can create some disruption with your periods as well. You may miss a month. They may be heavy one month and light the next month. But there's not a lot of disruption around this first phase. It's usually in the second phase where you're having lots of issues over the age of 45. Your body's not ovulating every month. I mean, you may miss some ovulation in your fertile years. It's very, very common now that women are not ovulating regularly. And then when you're not ovulating, you're not making that progesterone in the second part. Because when you're ovulating, when you've ovulated, that you produce a pop-up shock called the corpus luteum, and this is when progesterone is made in the second part of your month. And so estrogen is a growth hormone, so you can see how the heavy bleeding can be created a lot more when you have less progesterone to keep that growth in check. So estrogen's growing the blood lining in your uterus a lot thicker than usual. It's creating the heavy bleeding. It's creating maybe some clots in your blood as well with the heavy bleeding. And so that could be the reason why, because in the second phase of perimenopause, why you're having the heavy bleeding is because of the lower progesterone and you're not ovulating every month. Can also be because of thyroid not binding properly and being used by your body properly. It could also be because of fibroids, the heavy bleeding, and because of gut issues, you're not taking the excess estrogens out. It can also be toxins in your life. The toxins can be anything you're putting on your skin. What you're eating can be toxic as well. Toxins can be in your food if your food's not being washed properly, or you're eating lots of processed foods, refined foods. Then toxins can get in your body that way. And in perimenopause, your digestion can be disrupted as well because of the added stress and the lowering of hormones, and the up and down of hormones. It can cause lots of disruptions with your digestion, and it can lower your hormones even more, and it can lower your stomach acid. So when you've got lower stomach acid, that can invite in the toxins and the pathogens in your digestive tract to disrupt your gut digestion and your gut health, to affect your estrogen levels as well. Insulin resistance, that can also contribute to heavy bleeding, because insulin is also a growth hormone as well. So that can be impacting your heavy bleeding. And it can also be put at risk of iron deficiency and anemia if you're having heavy bleeding. So it's important to look at that. And if you want more help from me, to help you identify what heavy bleeding and what the cause it is after being checked out by your doctor, of course, then come and join me in my 12-week course where we go through all these different stresses, all these different, I call it my 5-step process that I can help you with to get to the bottom of this and sort this out for you. The one thing that I would suggest if you're struggling with heavy bleeding is to avoid dairy for a while till you get this bleeding under control, because that does contain casein-1, and that's been studied to have an effect on heavy bleeding as well. So I would definitely recommend that you cut out the dairy, look at what you're eating, your nutrition, and your gut health, and are you insulin resistant? All these things can play a massive part with disrupting your cycle and creating havoc with your periods as well. But they do get a bit scatty in the second phase of your cycle, the second phase of perimenopause. They will get lighter. One month you may have a heavy period, the next month you might have a lighter period, you may have some spotting in between, you may miss two months, you may miss 3 months, you may miss 5 months. The longer that you go without a period, the longer the gap is. Like you may go 7 months and then have a period. You may go like 9 months and then have a period. The wider that the gap is, the closer that you get into menopause. So it might start off with just skipping a few periods here and there. There may just be up and down with the flow of your period, one light month, one heavy month. This is all natural. This is all nothing to worry about. It's when the heavy flow is continuous, it's going for longer than 7 days, and it's continuous every month or going on for longer than like 2 or 3 weeks. This is when you need to look at what could be causing this and creating it. So I hope you find that helpful. I hope this has helped you understand a bit more about your periods and how they change in perimenopause. If you've got any questions at all, please ask me. Please put in the comments below that you've watched this video. If you're watching me on YouTube or Instagram, then put in the comments below. I will be checking my comments regularly to answer your questions. If you're watching me on YouTube, then please subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you get notified when I post more videos. And if you're watching on YouTube, you want to come along and join me. I did these videos in my Facebook group. Please come along and join. Where there's lots of other women where we chat. I'm in here every day, chat about lots of things that's happening to us in midlife. So come along and join us. The link's below in the comments on YouTube. So yeah, thanks for watching me. If you want to join my program, I'll also put the link in the comments below about my program. And thanks for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.